Hi Capricorn, welcome to May. This is Teresa from Tarot by T. And before I get started on your reading, I want to call in some good energy and create some sacred space around this reading. So this month we have a full moon in Scorpio, which is favorable to your sign, and a new moon, and that's on May 7th, and then a new moon in Gemini on the 22nd. And we're going to have some planets go retrograde. First is going to be Saturn, your ruling planet, will retrograde on May 11th until September 28th. Then after that, on May 13th, Venus will retrograde in Gemini. And then Jupiter in Capricorn will retrograde from May 14th to September 12th. So things are slowing down. We're having to rethink our strategies and look back to the past maybe and reconsider how we want to go forward when the planets start to go direct. So let's see what the cards say about love and relationships for the month of May. What does Capricorn need to know about love and relationships for the month of May? What does Capricorn need to know about love and relationships for the month of May? What does Capricorn need to know about love and relationships for the month of May 2020? Okay, let's see what we get. All right, the Queen of Swords, the Empress, the Six of Swords, the Nine of Wands, the Strength card, the Nine of Swords, the Two of Wands, the Ten of Pentacles, the Three of Swords, and the Hangman. Okay, so you start the month out as the Queen of Swords. You could be, you're doing a lot of thinking. I feel like you're going to be doing a lot of thinking this month. Queen of Swords energy is someone who is very independent. She's been through a lot, and so she has this wall built up around her. And she's like, I don't need anyone's help. I can do it all. You know, Capricorn sometimes has a trouble delegating because you don't really trust that other people are going to do the job as well as you are. Because Capricorn stands for excellence. You know, whatever you do, whatever you put your name on, it has to be excellent. It has to have quality. So you have this independent energy coming into the month. Like, I've got to do it myself. I can't depend on anybody. I've got to just do it all. And you have the Empress here. This is a card, and the Empress is usually, it represents motherhood, family, abundance. So you could be really wrapped up in family. Maybe your family is making a lot of demands on you. But this is also a card of creativity and abundance. So all the hard work that you're doing is eventually going to pay off. It's just that right now you're in this period of nurturing, of creating something, and it's just going to take time. And I feel like you're going to have to be patient in the month of May, especially around relationships and anything else you got going. You have the Six of Swords here. Now, if this doesn't represent you, the Queen of Swords can represent that you're dealing with an air sign. So that could be Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And but usually when the first court card comes out in the center spread, it usually represents the person and their energy. So you're expressing the energy of the Queen of Swords this month, where you're feeling, maybe you could even be a little bit harsh. You want to watch that. Don't be too harsh and judgmental in May. But you might be just feeling a little bit jaded or cynical. And because you're trying to get something off the ground and you're feeling like you have no support. Six of Swords is in the past. So you may have made a decision to move away from something. Maybe a relationship that has been going through a difficult time. or some situation, because the Six of Swords is about leaving something behind, leaving troubles behind. And the Nine of Wands is about the struggle. So you've been really struggling with something, and you feel like it's kind of like overwhelming, like you're almost feeling like giving up. So if you're in a relationship that's been giving you grief, you may be having thoughts about, you know, do I need to put up with all this, or should I just walk away? Should I move on to something else? So that you might be making a decision about a relationship this month. Now the Nine of Wands is about also, it's having to defend yourself, defend your position. You know, you might be battling against a partner or others that are coming up with different ideas, and they're questioning you, or they're challenging your ideas. And you have to defend your position. And it hasn't been easy for Capricorns, especially since the nodes have been in Capricorn and Cancer. Pluto, Saturn, and Jupiter, you know, you've been getting bombarded by all this intense energy. And so at some point you may feel like, maybe I should just give up. You know, maybe this is never going to happen. Maybe whatever I'm wanting to achieve is just not going to manifest. Maybe I should just give up. I'm just tired. I'm tired of the struggle. I'm tired of everything. But this card is a message that says, don't give up. You're so close. It's like you're at the tip, you're almost at the top of the mountain. If you just try one more, you know, just give it that last push, you can accomplish something, and you can get to your goal, and you can make it. So don't give up. This is a card, I know things have been difficult, and the Six of Swords is saying you can move away, you can negotiate a difficult situation. I feel like there has to be some kind of conversation or communication that can help you through this time. So if you're having a struggle, and this may not be for everyone, but for those who are having problems in relationships or even in career, you can get through this time. You just have to be more strategic or more diplomatic. You have to use your negotiating skills to get through this. And you have the Strength card here coming up in the future, and the Nine of Swords. So you could be worried about someone's health. Sometimes the Nine of Swords is mental stress. And it could be that you're dealing with someone who's having some mental issues, or a relationship issue requires counseling. Because the Strength card comes up usually when someone, this could be you or your partner, someone's dealing with anger issues, or someone is dealing with issues of self-esteem, learning how to control their emotions, not to go to extremes of emotion. So there could be some drama, some family drama, or some relationship drama, where the counseling could help. Maybe someone needs to go to talk to a counselor, talk to someone, to have some kind of therapy to help them work out their intense feelings. And with the Nine of Swords also, a lot of what you're like you might be up at night worried. You know, your mind is racing. If it's not you, it could be someone else, but I'm pretty sure it's you worrying about, you know, what's the outcome going to be? Where is this all going? You may have real concerns about the future, and your financial security, because you have, but you know, the Ten of Pentacles is in your environment, so you're going to be okay financially. It's just that I feel like you're worried about someone. It could be a partner or someone in your life that's going through a difficult time, emotionally, mentally, even physically. And a lot of times the Nine of Swords, a lot of times what we imagine, it's just based on fear, and it may not even happen. But you may be projecting into the future thinking, oh, what if this happens? What if that happens? What am I going to do if that happens? What am I going to do if this happens? So don't let your mind go crazy with potential things that might happen. Deal with the problems as they arise. You know, it's like, I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. Because a lot of times, a lot of what your mind may create as a worry may not even happen. So don't stress yourself out unnecessarily. And the Queen of Swords energy is also about learning how to use logic and not emotion to make decisions and to solve your problems. So don't get caught up in someone's drama. You know, try to stay calm. Like if someone's trying to push your buttons, just try to stay calm and use logic and, you know, rationality and, communicate to try and get through it without overreacting. That's the energy I'm feeling. Now here you have the Two of Wands. So, And this is in your negative thinking sector. So there's a potential for partnership, or you're thinking about partnership, but it's in your fear sector. So maybe you're afraid to connect with someone, or you're afraid of partnerships right now. Because of stuff that you've gone through in the past, you're kind of just considering and wondering. You might even be wondering if a partnership, where is it going? Is it going to work? Is it going to break up? You know, what's going on? In your environment, that you have the Ten of Pentacles. So you are secure. You have a secure home and family. I mean, people around you, regardless of what's happening, you do have a certain amount of security, and you do have people that are supporting you. Even if you may not feel that way, you may feel worried, but they might be fears based on your own inner insecurities. It may not be that. So that's why I'm saying, that's why you need to communicate. What you're thinking may not be what's really happening with other people. So talk to the other people. Talk to the people close to you, and talk about your fears, and you may be able to work things out where it's less of a worry or less of a problem. In your wish fulfillment sector, you have the Three of Swords. So you're hurting about something. You're feeling like, I have to cut things out of my life. You're feeling that in order to achieve a goal, I need to sever ties with someone or people, you know, things, just anything that's outlived its usefulness. And that could be a relationship, it could be friends, it could be situations that are kind of blocking you from moving forward. So you may be concerned about that. Like, I don't know, you know, I'm going to have to leave certain people behind, or I'm going to have to cut some people from my life to achieve my goals. And this card, the Hangman, is also about sacrificing, giving something up for something better. So there could be a potential partnership that comes your way, and you may have to take that opportunity to engage in that. It will require you to cut someone else out, or cut things out of your life and sacrifice, like you're sacrificing one situation to accept another. And so that could be the concern, like, am I making the right decision? I'm giving up my security, I'm giving up what I know to take this opportunity that's presenting itself. And I don't know if that's the right decision. So you're going to be kind of on the fence a little bit, worrying about the future and what's going to, you know, what the future will bring. Now, the Hangman is also a card of being in limbo. Like, you may feel like nothing's moving. Well, of course, we all feel that way right now, but especially you. You may feel like whatever plans, you've planted a bunch of seeds and you're waiting to see how things are going to work out, and nothing's happening. And so now you're starting to worry. The Hangman's about having patience. It may take some time before things work themselves out. So if you're feeling blocked, or you're feeling like you're stuck, don't give up the goal or the dream or the relationship just yet. Give it some time, and you might be able to work things out. But you have to have patience. So, but before you know, when you're making the decision, sometimes the Hangman, you just have to look at things from a different perspective. See things like from a fresh angle. You might have tunnel vision on a certain situation, and you may need to, that's why I'm saying communication is important, because it will help calm your thoughts and your fears. If you talk to someone, a lot of times what we do is we worry about something, and we have this whole thing worked out in our head, and it has nothing to do with reality. But we've never spoken to the other person. So if you're having an issue with someone, just talk to them and say, hey, you know what, I'm thinking you did this, and I'm thinking maybe you meant that, and what do you really mean, and where is this relationship going, and what do you feel? When you start to communicate, then you can resolve any misunderstandings. And the potential for misunderstanding this month is very strong, because Neptune and Mercury are going to be coming together in an aspect, and Venus is going to be squaring Neptune, and I'll get to that now when I look at the chart. So you want to make sure that you're really communicating clearly this month, and that you're not leaving things to your imagination. And that will help in relationships. But in any case, this is a time card, this Three of Swords. It represents 6 weeks. So in 6 weeks, so let's say May, like mid-June, you might make a decision to move on from something, to give something up for something better. Either leave a relationship or leave a situation, because a better opportunity is being presented to you that may offer you more security. It could be a career move, But for some, it could be a relationship change also. So let's see. So we have the full moon in the 7th house. And, what am I saying? It's on the 7th in May 7th. Scratch that. It's happening in your 11th house. So 11th and 5th. So this is, the 5th house has to do with children. The 11th house has to do with friendships, groups you belong to, hopes, wishes, dreams. The 5th house also has to do with romance, new romance, like just dating, kind of, and creative self-expression. So something is coming to completion at this full moon around either a creative project or a new romance. If you're not a committed partnership. So this is for people who are not in a marriage, but if you're dating, or with your children, if you have children, and you're seeing certain truths. Because the full moon always brings things to the surface, brings things to light. So information that may have been hidden now becomes revealed. And the sun is conjunct Mercury, so you may hear a message. You may have to have some type of communication. Or you might be involved in a creative project that involves communication. You know, marketing, the internet, social media. And it will represent a culmination of a dream that you've wanted to achieve for a while. So like if it's something you've been developing, you're going to come to some type of completion. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. The only issue is that Mars is squaring this moon. So Mars is where your energy is, and it's in your 2nd house. So you may feel, okay, I'm finishing up this project, and it may even be a success. And you may hear, you know, news about it. It may be ready to go live. But the problem with the issue, that the conflict is Mars is in your 2nd house, so you're concerned about money. Maybe there's some kind of financial expense connected with everything that comes up. Mars represents, when Mars goes through your 2nd house, it could be that your expenses go up. So you might be worried about money, like I have all these bills and I don't have enough money to cover them. So you may be thinking of ways to bring in more money. You might be thinking, well, I have to make more money. Maybe there's something I can do creatively that can bring in, maybe I can use my talents to generate income. Or maybe there's something that I can do that will help me increase my financial situation. Also Mars in the 2nd, you could be working on your self-esteem, you know, and working on, what am I settling for? Am I settling for too less? Do I need to fight more for what I deserve? Those are some issues that might come up. Neptune is in the 3rd house of communication. So, and Neptune is favoring the full moon. So whatever you're working on, it's going to be very creative. It's going to be, if you're working on a creative project, Neptune is a help to you. Anything else, if you're signing any contracts, you want to look at all the details, because Neptune can bring confusion. Or people are like Neptune in the 3rd house, the people around you may be confusing, like you're not understanding what they want. Or they may find you confusing, like you're not getting your point across. When it comes to communication, Neptune can create misunderstandings. But when it comes to art or creativity, Neptune is your inspiration. So for some of you, you might be inspired and you're finishing up a project and it's looking good. For others, there could be some confusion in direction. Like someone might be saying, well, I want this. You thought they wanted this, but they really wanted that. So that's why you have to communicate this month to avoid miscommunication, to avoid misunderstandings, I mean. Pluto and Jupiter have been in your 1st house for a long time. I mean, well, Pluto especially. Pluto's been in Capricorn since 2008. So you're going through some major changes in the way you are showing up in the world, the way you're seen by others. You're being seen. You're stepping into your power. You're learning how to deal with power. You might be working with powerful people. And Jupiter, it's not really strong in Capricorn, but it's giving you a boost as well in your 1st house. The only thing you might have to watch out for is gaining weight when Jupiter's in your 1st house, because Jupiter increases whatever it touches, and the 1st house represents your physical body. So especially when we're in quarantine, we have a tendency to eat more, so just watch what you're eating. Venus is in your 6th house, and it's going to be going retrograde this month, so you might be redoing some work project that involves creativity, but you are going to be getting along better with your colleagues at work. Venus, when Venus comes into the 6th house, and the 6th house represents your work environment, people are getting along. People seem to be nicer or more cooperative. But because Venus is retrograding in your 6th house, and it will start on May 13th until June 24th, you may have to rework certain things or reconsider, certain creative projects. Maybe you want to take a different approach than what you wanted before. And Venus is squaring Neptune, so you want to make sure if you're getting direction from anyone, like if you're working for a client, you want to make sure that you're both on the same page, that you both want the same things. Like you may want to do one thing, your client may want something else, or you may misinterpret what they're wanting. So you want to both really you want to make sure that you're communicating clearly and that you're understanding clearly what they're wanting, because there could be some confusion around that. If there's a health issue with Venus in the 6th, it could come from eating too much sugary stuff, too many carbs. So like you want to watch your sugar levels. Don't eat rich foods, might upset your stomach. So watch your diet and eat healthy. Now Mercury, where is Mercury in your chart? Mercury's in your 5th house, and it's sextile Neptune in your 3rd house. So you could be getting communications. Well, whatever. You could be hearing news from children, because the 5th house represents children. But if you're working on a creative project, Mercury, you're really enjoying the work you do this month, and you're really coming up with innovative ideas. So whatever you're doing, it's going to look beautiful. It's going to look great. You're getting inspiration. Your muse is with you this month. So if you're thinking about doing any kind of writing project or creative project, now's the time to really tap into that creativity, because you're going to be doing amazing things with that energy. So then Saturn, your ruling planet, goes retrograde. It's now in Aquarius. It's going to retrograde back into Capricorn, and then it's going to move back into Aquarius. From May 11th till September 28th. And Saturn's important in your chart because it rules you. It's the ruling planet of Capricorn. So Saturn has been in your 2nd house because it just moved into Aquarius, and it's having you really think seriously about your finances. And where's my money going? How am I spending money? Am I making enough money? What do I need to do? I need to grow up and take charge, and I really need to seriously do something about my financial situation. So if you haven't been paying attention to where to your bills and where the money's going, you're going to have to, Saturn's showing you the reality. Like, hey, I'm not making enough. Or I've got to change the way I spend, or my saving habits. Or, you have to get disciplined about money. And when it goes retrograde, you may be rethinking your strategies around investment and money, and even your self-esteem and the things that you value. Maybe you've always spent money on a certain thing, and now you feel like, well, do I really need that? Do I really need to spend money on that? Maybe I can cut that out and save money. So you're restructuring your financial plan, your financial strategies, while Saturn is retrograde. And you have several months to do this, because when Saturn, it just gave you a taste of, what is going on, and then it moves back into Capricorn, where it's back into your 1st house, where it's strong. Saturn is really strong in Capricorn, and Saturn is also strong in Aquarius because it used to be a co-ruler of Aquarius in the ancient times. So it's going to be strong while it's in Capricorn and Aquarius. The only difference is when it moves into Aquarius permanently, it'll be there for the next 2 years, and that'll be at the end of the summer, in September. Then you really have to get serious about your money, because it's going to be teaching you lessons about what you value, what you're spending on, what you're receiving in terms of money. So if you're not making enough, you have to really create a plan to get either a better job or whatever. Fix your financial situation, basically, and take responsibility and be disciplined and focused, and work on that goal. That's going to be your next goal, your goal for the next 2 years, 2.5 years. So then Jupiter goes retrograde on May 14th, And Venus goes retrograde on May 13th. We already talked about Venus and rethinking, you know, creative projects at work. You could even be connecting with people when Venus goes retrograde from the past. People you know, could be an old love or an old colleague from work comes back, and you may be reconnecting. Jupiter going retrograde. Let's see, where is Jupiter? Jupiter is in Capricorn, so that's going to have you rethinking how you're showing up in the world and what your plans are, what your hopes are. So you may rethink your appearance or how you present yourself. You may want to be taken more seriously, or you may feel like maybe you've taken on too much and you need to let go of some things because you can't handle it all. You can't do it all. And especially with Venus and Gemini in the 6th house, you may have like two things going on at once. You might be working on 2 projects or working on multiple projects, because that's a typical Gemini thing, you know, having a lot of irons in the fire. You may realize, well, maybe I've spread myself out too thin. Maybe I need to pull back and cut some things out so that I can do a better job on the few things that I am doing. Okay, then we have the new moon in Gemini, and that's in your 6th house. No, that's in your 6th house. So that could be an opportunity for a new job coming up, or a new project, a new work project. Maybe more than one. It could be 2. And this new beginning can bring more financial security to you, because Saturn will be trining the moon in Saturn in Aquarius will be trining the new moon in Gemini. And Saturn is in your 2nd house. So whatever you sign up for at this new moon, whatever you start, it's going to be in place for a long time, and you're going to feel like, okay, maybe there's this new beginning that's going to bring me more security. Mars is still going to be squaring the new moon from your 3rd, so you have to watch your communication style when Mars is in your 3rd house, because you might be coming on too strong and you might be kind of argumentative. So you want to watch that you're not being argumentative, or you could be having conflicts with family, siblings, neighbors, because the 3rd house rules brother, sister, aunt, uncle, siblings. So just watch your communication style, and try to have a softer approach, or more compassionate approach. Even if you have to say something that's not pleasant, it's not what you say, it's how you say it, kind of. So watch that. Uranus is going to be squaring Mars. No, what am I saying? Uranus is going to be squaring Saturn. So you may find that there might be some blocks around your financial situation. Like there might be some surprises that come up. So just be prepared. You might want to save some money, put some money aside, just in case anything's like a surprise, an unexpected expense pops up. And that could be related to children. So maybe one of your kids, if you have children, one of your kids may have an unexpected, something may happen where you have to spend money. So just have a little nest egg there. Venus and Mercury are going to be in your 5th house. No, your 6th house, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Okay, Venus and Mercury are going to be in your 6th house. So definitely there could be some kind of developments around the job, around your employment. Maybe you get a job offer, or there's like a new project, we have to sign a contract. There's communication coming up at this new moon, or just after the new moon. Again, because Neptune is in the 3rd house, which is the house of contracts, and it's squaring Mercury and it's squaring Venus, make sure if you get offered a new job, let's just say someone offers you a job, hey, come work for me, I'll pay you X amount of dollars. Just make sure that whatever they're promising you, they're going to deliver, because with this Neptune influence, there could be some confusion around the details. So you may think you're agreeing to one thing and you wind up, getting something else. When Venus goes retrograde, it's not a good time to form a committed partnership, like get married under a retrograde, or it's not a good time to sign even contracts. I mean, you can if you really have to, but just like I said, read the fine print, make sure that all things are explained and you know exactly what's going on, because there could be some confusion around what you think you're seeing and what is reality. But the new moon, it may have some challenges to it, but basically with Saturn supporting the new moon, anything you begin now, that's why even more, make sure you really want it, because it's going to be in place for a long time. It's not something you're going to want to like change. So like if you're signing up for some kind of like loan and you're going to be indebted to someone for like, years, when you're buying something or whatever you're committing to, it's going to be in place for a while. So make sure you really know that this is what I really want, and you'll be fine. So that's my forecast. I think things may take, so don't worry too much. You might have to cut some things out of your life if they're standing in the way of your success, and things may take a little longer to get off the ground, but eventually they will. And you're a Capricorn, you know the value, you're not afraid to keep working until you get there. Capricorns, when they have a goal, they're going to do the work. They're going to, do whatever it takes to get to their goal. So just be patient. It may be a little frustrating this month because everything is slowed down, but eventually you'll get there and you'll be fine. So I hope you enjoy this month. Stay safe, be healthy, and hold on to the dream. And I want to say also, if you like this video and you found it helpful, click on the like button, click on the subscribe button. If you'd like a private reading where we could deal with your situation specifically, click on the link in the description box. It'll take you to my website, and we'll get you on the schedule. In the meantime, I want to say thank you everyone for supporting the channel, for leaving comments. I love reading all the comments. Thank you for those who've ordered readings. If you're new, welcome. I hope you're enjoying these videos. And have a wonderful May, Capricorn. I'll talk to you next month. Okay, bye now.